Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Gambletown is back. I see this on a screen. I'm
We
ready
made it.
to gamble. Oh, my afro is so lopsided right now. That's the thing that I'm seeing more than anything, which makes sense because I
Same,
placed a
Waleed.
bet like
Same.
40 minutes ago.
I love it.
Uh, guys, this is my favorite part of football season. I'm so happy to see you guys again. Not that I haven't seen you beforehand. Although I
And
don't
that you
really
won't
see
see us
Ryan as much in the
tomorrow.
off season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. I know the you know it's truly football season when the Going to Gambletown Facebook group chat is popping.
Yeah.
I feel
It's
bad
ready.
for I feel bad for Josh and Brandon who are both in there and like don't talk as much and don't post 8,000 four-leg parlays that they're going to do for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I still like keeping tabs on you guys in case I have to call the number on your behalf. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
okay, these are players and teams I've heard of. No more cricket
And
talk in there. Like,
get your dialing fingers ready to go cuz we're back,
there is a
baby.
big red intervention button right next to Josh's desk.
We're fucking ready. Yeah, you're gonna have to push the War of the Worlds easy button, like Ice Cube did in that awesome movie.
All right,
All right,
guys, let's
sponsored
get
by
into
Amazon.
Gambletown. These are going to be shorter shows, and we're just going to focus on what we think are our top bets. We're not going to go through game by game anymore. We're just going to hit you with the good stuff. We did have a winning record last year, technically, on the back of Ryan Edgecombe. This time,
Right.
Tony and I are going to bring it.
I have a coworker that's like, yeah, I sports bet, and I'm like, oh yeah, so do I. Like, I do a podcast and we do a gambling show. He's like, how do you do? I'm like, I do okay.
You had it weird last year, dude, because like all the things that weren't hitting for you last year were your top five bets, but everything else, like six
Yeah,
six on, like your hit rate was phenomenal.
but we're back from the lab, and we're ready to rock. We're gonna present to you uh, five of our top five bets of the week. We're gonna present to you our parlays. We're gonna give you our millionaire bets. We're gonna give you our DFS picks. Ask us a million questions. AK Magic asking us why are the Ravens favored over the Bills in Buffalo.
Because Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year, like the
I-
true MVP, the
See,
people's MVP.
I'm gonna say it's because the Ravens are the better team.
Yeah,
Yeah, but here's
they
the
are.
thing: I think they're underestimating Josh Steinfeld's juice now.
He's got
Like,
the juice. Yeah.
yeah, he's like I really do like
and
Josh Allen a lot this year.
and I don't know if you guys remember the latter half of the season when the Bills played Buffalo, or sorry, the Ravens played Buffalo during the regular season. What was that, like week 13 or whatever? Derrick Henry put up like 200 yards, and like just Ravens just had a field day.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Um.
true.
Okay. So, oh, this only goes up to 2021. Um. Against the spread, the team that's on Hard Knocks is one, two, three, four, five, six. Oh, they're about 50-50 against the spread on the Hard Knocks boost. I wanted to see if there was like a fun, cool
Sure.
little edge there, which there clearly is not. And yeah, the Bills did beat the Ravens in the playoffs, but
This is a new year, and the
Uh,
Ravens look
go ahead.
really good.
And I got three words for you: D. Andre Hopkins. No, I'm just kidding. I don't actually believe in DeAndre Hopkins.
He also doesn't believe that's three words.
That's true. And I'm vaxxed, so I have no room to speak on DeAndre Hopkins. All right, so let's talk about our top five bets of the week, guys, because week one is always tough. It's very vibes based, I feel like, because there's not
It
much
is
to
for
go
me.
on. Usually there's always some outlier every year. Cincinnati loses in week one. Like it's just chaos. So let's go through our bets and we'll see where we go here. So I'm gonna start with Ryan. Ryan, can you tell me your
Before you say anything,
Ooh,
do we all seem quiet, or is it just like one particular person, Levin?
I can hear me just fine,
Yeah,
and that's the
I
most
hear us
important.
all fine, but
I think
Oh,
I
I just
sound
hear me
fine.
fine. Most important part of the show.
uh, I would agree with that. I only come here for you,
I appreciate that, Wally. Someone clip that.
Tony.
Um, good.
Oh,
That
jeez.
sounds like a bad idea.
Good
Yeah.
That
God.
means like it's 360.
Oh, I'm really quiet. Really.
For now, that's early season. He's still got to shake off the cobwebs.
That's
Um,
insane.
so Ryan, your first tell me your
I
first
mean,
top five bet of the
I can
week
do
and tell
that.
me why.
All right, my first top 5 bet of the week this
Is this
week,
better?
guys.
Go
Okay.
ahead,
Well, I'll
Ryan.
get in there.
My first bet this week, guys, is Brian Thomas Jr. over 5.5 receptions at minus 102 odds. Yes, guys, Travis Hunter is there, but guys, we don't have Evan Ingram anymore. And if you think Bretton Strange is going to be anywhere close to what Evan Ingram was doing when him and Trevor Lawrence was on the field, you're sadly mistaken. Bretton Strange will still get involved, but there's a reason he's cheaply owned and in some leagues not even owned, even though he's the starting tight end. He's no Evan Ingram. Travis Hunter's still there, guys, but we don't know how much he's going to play still. BTJ is the proven commodity in this offense. I think he's at least good for 7 catches.
I like that because one of the things that my theory is this year is that instead of doing like Liam Cohen did with Cooper Cup in the slot with the Rams and with Chris Godwin in the slot with the Bucks, I think there's a chance that BTJ and Travis Hunter get those slot routes,
I
kind of
think so
split it.
too.
And so that's why I think I would prefer the receptions to the yards. So I think that's a
Sure.
great shout.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought 73, 74 and a half, where it is generally around on most sports books. I thought that was a little
it's tough.
yeah, it was tough to get behind.
Yeah,
Because
totally with it.
that's like what CD Lamb's line was. I mean, obviously he blew that out of the water, but um,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
tough for the first week.
in one quarter or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go second because my first top five bet of the week fits in with Waleed's. And my first top five bet of the week is Joe Flacco to go over 241 and a half passing yards. Old man. It's the old man fucking baller stack. So Flacco's
You
throwing for
know,
200. Go ahead.
no, it fits the game narrative. They're gonna be playing from behind.
They are 6 point dogs. Flacco's thrown for 254 or more in 13 of his last 16 starts. Since he allowed the 13th most passing yards per game last season, the defense has only gotten a year older, a year shittier. They're going to be playing from behind. I see a lot of checkdowns, and I'll kind of get to how I view those checkdowns when we get to the DFS portion. But Flacco over 241 and a half receiving yards is my first play of the week. Waleed, what do you got?
Really
Uh,
quick,
I, I,
Tony, did you happen to look at the lines for Tillman? Because didn't Tillman do good when Flacco was in, or was that the other guy?
He did. He
it's
did.
the guy who did really well when Flacco was in is my top five bet of the week. Thank you for that
Oh,
transition, Ryan. That's David Njoku over 49
hell
and a
yeah,
half
yeah, he did
receiving
do
yards.
really good.
I'm here for that. And like one of the big things that I like about like this is historically over the last few years, Cincinnati, they suck week one. They have been a slow starter, and they said they did something to fix it. But I'm going to assume they're going to continue to suck in week one, and I'm going with that. So and because of that, and because Njoku is Flacco's favorite target, 49 and a half yards is nothing. I'm taking that Njoku over. And like I did love Tony's bet so much that that's going to end up rolling into one of my parlays later.
Okay.
That's, yeah. I mean, I think here's my thing when we get to DFS. I'm really worried that this game is going to be like the most overexposed game of the week, of the week. But I think, like, for betting purposes, I want a lot of action in this game, and I feel like Cincinnati is priced a lot better than Cleveland is.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, all right, Ryan, your second bet of the week. What do you got?
My second bet this week, guys, Hunter Henry's over 3.5 receptions. I'm keeping 3 of my top 5 bets this week as receptions since I did so well with those last year.
You did.
Hunter Henry,
If it
guys,
ain't broke,
this year.
yeah.
What?
Yeah,
I said if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
right.
That's right. Hunter Henry, guys, last year had a 19.2% target share and averaged 49.9 yards per game with a 1.7 yard per route run and a 22.7 first read share with Drake May on the field. So he's got a a 25, almost 25% chance that he's going to be the first one that Drake May looks at. Also, guys, the Raiders allowed the fifth most receiving yards per game and seventh highest yards per reception to tight ends last year. They didn't do too much to beef up their defense, so I think that's pretty much going to be about the same story. So Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions, I think that's easy.
Can I throw a little anecdotal thing here too? The last 2 years after week one, uh, Hunter Henry was the waiver wire guy everyone kept targeting. For some reason, man, he's blown up week one the last 2 years. So I
And
absolutely love this bet.
and guys, right now, 3.5 receptions when I think he's going to get 5 or 6, it's
Yeah.
plus money. It's plus 118 right now. It'll
Sure.
probably
Hunter
go
Henry,
down by tomorrow morning, but
Hunter Henry is the wide receiver two of this offense, in my opinion.
right. Yes.
Wow. Slamming on Pop Douglas. All right. My second top five bet of the week is a vibes based bet, and it's Colston Loveland over 28.5 receiving yards. Minnesota allowed 51.8 receiving yards to tight ends last season. They allowed 5.2 receptions to tight ends. And I really think that people don't understand how much they're going to use Colston Loveland in this offense, and I think this is a misprice. I don't
It's
see him getting
it's a
50.
huge
Yeah.
misprice.
I don't know if I see him
Yeah.
getting 50 yards, but I definitely see him getting 40 yards, no problem.
And I think there's not very many people outside of the Chicago market too that really have done research on this guy enough to know that he's going to be used a lot.
All
Like
I'm
you said.
saying is his college yards per route run and targets per route run numbers were better than Brock Bowers.
And
Just
did you
saying.
look at how he played in the preseason? I mean, 28.5 yards, that could be on one catch. He breaks
Yeah,
one
he's
tackle and he's gone for 15 more yards.
Right.
and the way this offense funnels yards to the tight end or targets to,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like, no,
Yeah.
this is a great bet. And like I almost wanted to follow you guys here, but
But
the
tell me
heart
yours because
yeah,
you changed it up.
the heart wants what the heart wants. And if you're in our Discord, you know I have been the biggest Roma Dunze truther since before he was drafted. 2 years before. This has been a weird. This is why I love Ryan Poles. He's drafted my draft crush 2 years in a row. So how could I not like the guy? Because I love Loveland, but like Roma Dunze is him. And there's a lot of like if you look at yards per route run and target per route run last year, you're not going to like Roma Dunze. But if you're looking at that, you're missing the big picture. The same way you were missing it with Jackson Smith and Jigba 2 years ago. 49.5 for Roma Dunze is way too low.
My heart is with you.
Yeah,
It's a high number, but
it is a high number, but I think it only seems like a high number now because I think by week four his number's in seven. And I'm
Okay.
trying to get the
Sure.
value where I think things are mispriced. And
okay,
that's why Roma Dunze at 49.5 yards receiving, I'm smashing it now because I'm not going to be able to get that number next week.
sure.
Okay.
Ryan, do you have a Bears related top five bet of the week you'd like to share with us?
I also do
My
as well,
man,
guys.
AK, good job.
I also what did AK say?
He just locked in AJ BTJ. I think he meant to say because if he's locking in AJB over 8.5 receiving yards, I don't even know how he would get that because that game just happened.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
um
Anyways, yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Anyways, guys, I went with Tony's line too, and I think anyone outside of Chicago doesn't realize how much Colston Loveland's going to be used. So my third and final reception bet for this week on my top five bets is Colston Loveland's over a measly 2.5 receptions. I thought this line would have opened at 3.5.
See,
Right.
I,
It is.
but
It
it opens
is.
at 2.5 because it's minus 172.
Well, it's
It's
heavily
why,
juiced. It's
yeah,
heavily
and
juiced. But
that's why I would rather take it at 3.5 with a lower number because I think 4 catches is very easily in his range of outcomes. Like,
I love the 2.5 receptions because you can go in and like I'm betting all of these separately, but I do like to put all of these together as well.
oh,
Sure,
Um,
sure.
well, I
so
And the
told you that
adjusted
last year.
line. Yeah.
If we all do our 5 game parlay, our five top five bets as a parlay, every one of us like the last 2 years has won at least gone 5-0 at least once,
right,
and
yeah,
that means that. And if you do it once over an 18-week season, you're gonna turn a
right.
profit. If you
And
do it twice, it's huge.
And since it's separate games, let's see, what did I get? Because I put all mine together already. Um, it just seems like Colson Loveland, that 2.5 receptions is cheat code for a parlay.
It
Yeah,
really is.
sure.
Let me see. What did I get when I put all those together? I got plus 2037 odds, guys. So when I put $5 down, it's almost $100.
Sure.
That's a nice bet. Tony, I want you. AK's got the question. Do you like HN over 31.5 receiving yards?
I'm anxious about it because like I get burned every time I put money on Achan receiving yards. I think Achan receptions is probably a little juicier. I'm not sure what that line is. Wally, can you pull that up
I'll
on
look.
Betstamp?
I'll
I
look it up.
absolutely can.
Let's
Oh
see.
no, I got Betstamp. If I'm pulling it up, they're going to see what we're getting here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
sure.
Just
Yeah,
on
different
that's
type of
right.
HN
probably different lines.
receptions, 4.5 is what he's at, and you're
Wow.
getting plus, but it's plus. They're all plus numbers, so that means
Okay.
that line is like right over there. 4.5, you're getting like plus 115 on BetMGM.
I might
5
even
catches basically.
if I'm dying on an Achan receiving hill, I'm probably going to take a little bit of a bump in my odds to go like 4 plus.
Yeah,
Just I
yeah.
worry about the hook on that and like what if Miami has a competent offensive line play this week? It's possible.
It it's super juiced. Like if you guys wanted to do an alt and do 4+, it's minus 225. So if you're
Oh,
trying to
well
make a parlay, yeah,
there's your
Yeah,
problem,
it's
right?
that's
right.
Like
that's what it is. Like honestly, the if I was gonna do anything with Chan, and I don't know that I would just because the line is so high, is maybe like on BetMGM 92.5 rushing plus receiving yards combined, because I feel like it's gonna be a mixed bag. But when the totals come in, I think 100 combined yards is very easy for him.
sure.
Like
All right, let me scroll through my third top 5 bet of the week. I'm going to go with my wide receiver model darling last year, Brashad Bateman, over 36 and a half receiving yards. Um, so Buffalo runs cover two, fifth highest rate in the league last year, and Bateman had 305 receiving yards last year against cover two, and Mark Andrews was second with 126. So he had almost 200 more receiving yards than any Baltimore receiver against cover two. Against cover two, Bateman has a 27% target share, 58% air yard share. I think this is going to be a potentially high scoring game. Bateman is in a position to light up cover two. I think that he's going to have, I mean, this isn't even a receptions bet. Like he could get this in 2 catches.
yeah,
So,
that's what I like about it.
so I'm going Bateman over 36 and a half receiving yards as my third top 5 bet of the week. Waleed, what's yours?
I feel like um the Braylon Allen hype in New York has
It's
made
too
us
much.
lose our minds about Brees Hall. And I love, and like Tony will tell you, like when I was doing best ball early, I love Braylon Allen's value early. I have a lot of exposure to him because he is going to get used. But it's like everyone getting excited about David Montgomery on Detroit, because we're assuming it's running the same offense, while forgetting that Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy that you actually want. And Brees
Correct.
Hall is an incredibly talented. He's a year removed from his ACL. Brees Hall has all the earmarks of a guy who's going to vastly outperform his ADP. He's a guy I have targeted, and it's only 44.5 rushing yards for him. That line is too low. That's way too low. So I'm going to smash that over because, like I said, this is a vibes bet, and like my research tells me that Brees Hall is undervalued, and I'm getting him like at way too cheap a price.
I think there's a chance that that running game gets the boost with the rushing quarterback. While I think
Sure.
it might be negative for fantasy because Fields will run inside the 5,
Yeah.
I think having the RPO element is huge.
Okay. Josh, I don't know if you heard that. All of our audios just went really low.
What did you do, man?
Let me see.
We're shaking out
Yeah.
the cobwebs.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. This is our preseason.
It's been a long off season. I got a kid now.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Palantir shirt because when they start spying on people, I want them to look fondly on me.
Yeah, I got burned by Brees Hall last year, guys, and I think that's why I'm not on his exposure. I should have been more excited about it. I'm regretting it now that I have like no exposure to him at all in anything this year. But
here's the thing: you didn't get burned on Brees Hall. You got burned on Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't check down. He doesn't do the things that you want because he wants to make explosive play. That's how
I gave him
the last 5 years.
I gave him a good go. I had him like his rookie year and then last year and he did so well except for last year, and I just like I gotta give up on this guy, and now I'm
that's the wrong attitude. It's an outlier. Josh's audio is normal. Wait,
I can't hear
okay,
Josh.
Yeah, I can't hear Josh. You can say
not at all.
You can say Brees Hall is fool's gold, fatty, but you're going to be wrong. Everyone, like, people overreact to 1 year of data. 2 years ago, we thought Brees Hall was one of the like elite running back talents, and now we've forgotten about it because Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers like value. So,
Right, and when I first thought about it, I'm like, oh, this might be an interesting offense because now they have to run more. But then I was like, but Justin Fields, I don't know. It's something.
I personally think the RPO is going to open up things for both of them. Where I think they're like, cause you have to pick one, and if you make the wrong choice, that's going to gash them. Like I think the Jets running game, even with the injury to one of their best linemen, is going to be one of the more fun run games in football. But I'm operating under the assumption that they're running something similar to Detroit.
Right.
Like,
but the more
weeks, I might change my mind, but I'm operating on the system that I think is in play, and that, like Aaron Glenn has told us, is the system in play.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, Ryan, tell us your fourth top 5 bet of the week.
AK, is our audio, is it still bad?
Turn the headphones up. I'm just kidding.
All right, guys.
I just want to make sure that like it's working here.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like if someone says that they have trouble hearing me, that's a problem. That's a real problem.
It's a them problem. All right, Ryan, what do you got?
My fourth bet, guys, this week is Derrick Henry's alt rushing yards of 80 or more. It's at minus 132 because his real line, I think, is 84 or 85 and a half. But if we look at both games that Derrick Henry played Buffalo last year, the playoffs he had 84 yards because they were passing more. He only had 16 carries. And they had that game in late September where he had 24 carries for 200 yards and a touchdown. He also had a touchdown in the playoff game. But yeah, Derrick Henry, 80-plus rush yards. I mean, last year, guys, let's see. He had only 1, 2, 3, 4 games where he had under 80 yards. That's it. So,
I love it.
Yeah, he had the whole offseason to be healthy, and
one of the 4 games he had 73 yards, and the other one he had 68 and 65 and 67. That was it. Every other game was 80 or more.
Can I say what I've appreciated about this offseason? It's the first time I think in a while that people are just giving up on the Derrick Henry is an older running back narrative because they're just like, because they've realized what I realized right away is when your father is Zeus, you don't age.
Exactly. When you're a running back god, yeah.
When you are an Adonis, I'm just going to keep betting on you until you prove me wrong.
Right. This guy's always going to be special.
Waleed's placing a 4-leg parlay on Zeus, Hera, Archimedes, and Dionysus. Go over 0.
I want to point out, is Archimedes a god? I thought he was a dude who just came up with some math shit.
What am I, a fucking English teacher? I don't know. All right.
He's like a navigator or something.
Look at me nitpicking your Greek gods.
Exactly. So my fourth top 5 bet of the week, so my top 4 bet of the week, it's a trend that I noticed quite a bit, and that's rookie quarterbacks throwing interceptions in their first game. So I'm going with Cam Ward to throw at least 1 interception. I got it at minus 152 on FanDuel, but just whatever odds you can get. Like Tennessee, 8.5-point dogs, so Tennessee should be throwing. Denver defense and pass rush are scary for a rookie quarterback on the road playing from behind. I think he's going to, this is a bad Tony Pollard week, I believe. So I think he's going to be playing from behind. They have to air it out to try to move the ball. They're going to get desperate. This might be something that I'm not worried about because it might happen in the fourth quarter. But I think it was a huge deal because C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams were like the only two rookie quarterbacks to not throw an interception in their first game in like 10 fucking years or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So
When I saw this bet, Tony, I got real excited because I had forgotten about the stat that you had pointed out like the last couple shows, and then I saw it and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to tail that." This is my favorite bet of yours because it's going to hit more often than it doesn't. That's
Correct.
exactly what you want on a bet.
Correct. Especially like it's not just that this is a trend, it's that this is a trend that's also something that I like from a matchup perspective too.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for
So-
Jackson Dart's first start, so I
Two
can get that bet in.
interceptions. All right, Wally, what's your fourth bet?
My fourth bet, it's like I said, we're going vibes based. You guys love your BTJ, but I'm taking Travis Hunter over 48.5 yards because
I
I
love
think
it.
he's going to do it on one play. And like, if you're in our Discord, you know we have been banging into Travis Hunter drum. This guy's one of the best receivers I've ever scouted. I expect him to come off guns blazing because, like, it's either BTJ or Travis Hunter. One of them's going to get a good look. You can pick one, and I think teams are going to defend Brian Thomas Jr. a lot more than they get Travis Hunter because he's still an unknown. Yeah, he's a rookie with hype, but like, I mean, Jamar Chase was a rookie with hype until his week 1 like blowout. So actually he wasn't hyped up. He was like everyone said that he was like going to be a bust off of training camp because they were stupid.
And I mean, like, I understand that you might not be a huge film head or a huge college football fan, and that's fine because whatever. But like, when you watch Travis Hunter on tape, you're like, oh, this dude's fucking special.
I've been very vocal that I didn't think Shedeur Sanders was anything more than a day 3 quarterback in this draft process. I think the only reason he got the hype he did is because of Travis Hunter. Shedeur Sanders is Johnny Manziel. And like Mike Evans is the only reason that guy got drafted. Travis Hunter is the only reason Shedeur Sanders got drafted.
I will say this before we leave this Travis Hunter discourse in the dust. Never wrong, just early. The year before Travis Hunter won the Heisman, I bet him to win the Heisman after I watched the TCU game where he went insane.
Love it.
Like, he's just, you watch those dudes and you're like, oh, it's like watching 90s basketball and you're watching this one guy on the Bulls that's like clearly playing a different fucking sport than everybody else.
The athleticism.
Correct. I'm not saying that he's a Michael Jordan level player, but in terms of where he's at and the way he plays the game versus your average football player, it's drastic.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, Ryan, your fifth top 5 bet of the week.
All right, guys. This week we're gonna go bacon with some Baker Mayfield. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns, -128. Guys, last year there was only 5 games out of the 17 that he played where he did not have 2 or more touchdowns. There was only one game he didn't have any, and the other ones he at least had one. But Mayfield's gonna bake. We've got last season's home opener against Washington. Baker threw 4 touchdowns. It seems like he does pretty decent in these home openers, especially with Tampa. He wants to come out and assert their dominance, and I think Tampa's gonna be another playoff team this year, so they're gonna want to come out and get 2-3 touchdowns right off the bat, then try and just coast the rest of the game. I think if they're not having too much competition from Atlanta, but this being a conference game or a division game, I think it's going to be more competitive. So it's going to be Baker's passing all day. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff with his yards too. So
Okay.
You got me thinking about that. Like, I'm trying to look up his opening days, and yeah, he's had like over 2 touchdowns the last 2 years at least.
We'll do some. We got a question in the Discord about DFS for us to get to, and it's going to be kind of relevant to this conversation. So we'll put that in our back pocket.
Okay.
I want to stay NFC South here, and my last top 5 bet of the week is another vibes-based bet. That's Ted McMillan over 65.5 receiving yards. And if you guys are right about Jacksonville this week, then I'm most likely going to be right about Carolina.
Because I sure hope that this Jacksonville and Carolina game goes off.
Correct. So Thielen's gone. Thielen had like a 19% target share. He ran routes on 77% of their on their passing plays. Jaguars were third worst in receiving yards per game allowed, and they allowed the second highest yards per route run to receivers aligned out wide. I think Ted McMillan is the truth. I also think, if you guys will recall, one of my bets that hit on draft night was Tet to Carolina because it
I
was,
tailed you on that too.
and it was like plus 800 or some shit like that. And it was like, well, no, they want this guy. They need this guy. Bryce needs this guy. Bryce needs his Mike Evans. He needs his go-to. So I think this is going to be a Dave Canales special, and I think Ted McMillan is going to have a huge week one. That would be, who's he going to throw to fucking Hunter Renfro?
And with Coker on IR and Leggett
Yeah,
being
that's true.
awful, it's just opening the door for
Jatavian
And-
Sanders time?
What I'm hearing is a Jatavian Sanders week. Damn it,
Get the
Ryan,
fuck
you
outta
beat me
here.
to it.
Out of here. I'm just saying that, like, I think that they're playing from behind. I think they're throwing the ball quite a bit, and I think a lot of that's going to go to Ted McMillan. I mean, I can easily see him walking away from week one with a 30% target share.
I think so. I think that's definitely in the range of outcomes.
All right, Waleed, your fifth top 5 bet of the week, my friend.
So we all know that I love to love things, but this last pick, I'm going to be a little petty, a little hateful here, because I saw this bet and I'm like, Spencer Rattler, 2 interceptions at plus 162. I'll make that bet. I think team is going to be bad. I think Spencer Rattler's off. I think Spencer Rattler is like Will Levis level of bad. So I will absolutely bet on a multiple interception game.
It's a shame. It's a shame you can't do those interception bets in parlays.
Yeah.
No, you can't, and it sucks. But that's okay because I'm
That's
happy
all right.
to do that.
I'll put
I
$5
still
on
remember.
that.
I still remember being so mad last year when I had the Will Levis over 1.5 turnovers, and then he threw a pick on the first play of the game, and then got benched. Like, right process, wrong outcome.
Yep. All right.
You don't want to do it too quick.
I will never forget that. Like, when a guy is so bad, he kills your parlay. Like, oh, your bet. Oh,
so
bad.
Ryan, run us through your top 5 bets of the week one more time.
Once again, guys, BTJ's over 5.5 receptions. Hunter Henry's over 3.5 receptions. Colson Loveland's over 2.5 receptions. Derrick Henry's alt 80+ rushing yards. And Mayfield over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
All right. My top 5, Flacco over 241.5 passing. Loveland over 28.5 receiving. Bateman over 36.5 receiving. Cam Ward to throw an interception. Ted McMillan over 65.5. Waleed, your 5?
I got Njoku over 49.5 receiving yards. Roma Dunze over 49.5 receiving yards. Brees Hall over 44.5 rushing yards. Travis Hunter over 48.5 receiving yards. And Spencer Rattler, 2 interceptions.
All right, Waleed, tell us your parlays this week.
All right, so my first parlay of the week, I got one that's a little bit more conservative, one that's a little bit more fun. You guys already can guess where the fun ones can go. So, like I said, like Tony and I are all on lockstep when it comes to Flacco here. I like Njoku for that, so I just did a nice simple Flacco over 244.5 passing yards, Njoku over 49.5 receiving yards, and an Njoku anytime touchdown. I didn't get quite the line that Tony got, 241.5 for Flacco, but that's okay because I think he's going to throw for over 250 anyway. And I had a bonus bet, so I did $5 at plus 575, so that's going to make me $28.75.
Dude,
my other bet
Flacco opened at like 233.5, so I got in late too.
That makes sense. But like, I don't know. I don't get as excited betting week one. I try to be a little bit more conservative because the fact is, for all the research we do, 50% of it's going to be wrong, and it's going to be proven wrong in like week one. So I'm trying not to just throw money out there unless I feel really good about my own process.
Sure.
But we're here to prove that wrong.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I just said I'm not going as wild in week one as I am later. Like, I'm still making all of these bets.
It would not be wise to,
Waleed, you don't have a gambler's heart. You should be champing at the bit to throw money away because it's been months.
Right. That's true.
All right, Waleed, what's your second parlay?
So my second parlay, I was like originally going in at Caleb Williams 300 passing yards and Odunze over 100 receiving yards. And then I saw just the odds I was getting. I'm like, I might as well save this because I'm still getting a really good price.
Yeah, exactly.
So I went Caleb Williams at 250 passing yards, Odunze at 70 receiving yards, an Odunze touchdown, and Bears money line, $5 at plus 1840.
Damn.
So that's gonna make me $97 for that $5 bet. So
Okay.
I'm
Guys-
smashing that because like that's a fun bet, and it's gonna make that opening Bears game either really fun or really awful. I don't know which one, but like I don't know. I'm not like. Here's the thing: as much as I love the Bears this year, I will not be surprised if they start off slow. Like
Sure.
they got a new offense in place, and it's a complicated offense. And I'm gonna give it 4 weeks, but I'm also like
I'm going to give it 4
I
weeks,
said
but I'm
this
also going to
before.
give it 3 weeks.
I'm gonna be very surprised if the Bears don't do well against Minnesota this
See,
opening.
I
game,
won't be. I
especially
my
of
gu-
how much shit I talked about JJ McCarthy this year.
for as much as I put on that Bears money line, my gut tells me this is a Minnesota game. That Minnesota defense is going to be the best defense the Bears play all year.
It's a Brian Flores thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that has me going. Like where I think, and they added like some really good pieces to an already strong defense.
They got
I
some
do
dollars.
like JJ McCarthy. I'm the only JJ McCarthy guy here. So, but I think JJ McCarthy might struggle too because I think the Dennis Allen defense. Like I think this is actually the bet in this game that might be the play might be the under, just because of these two defenses
Sure.
and the fact that offenses start off slow. I got to look at what that line opens at. What is that line?
Sure.
Scrolling down here.
While you're looking, I'm going to run through my parlays real quick.
Probably like 40.
My money line parlay.
43 and a half.
My money line parlay is mostly favorites. I threw in one dog, so I'm going Commies, Cardinals, Bucks, and then I'm going with the Lions to beat Green Bay. We talked about it on the pod last night. I'm still not exactly sure why Detroit are dogs in this game. I didn't know Micah Parsons could also play running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line. So that what got me plus 619. I got some Rey Mysterio action on that, so I put $10 down to bring me back 71.94. And I went a little modest on my same game parlay. I took an adjusted line. I chopped it down a little bit. I'm worried about this game getting out of hand, but I have a James Conner adjusted rush line at 60 yards and an anytime touchdown, which got me to plus 110. I hung $10 on it, would bring me back 2105. Ryan, your parlays.
Good. Guys, I did a money line parlay this week. I went Washington, Jacksonville, New England, and Cincinnati. Gave me plus 422 odds. I don't think it's that bold. I mean,
I think I honestly, the Cincinnati week 1, like the last few years, they lose in week 1. So that's
the Browns are fucking terrible.
Yeah, they might be so bad it's unavoidable.
Right. There's a reason
the
Vegas
Browns
is
are better
giving
than
you.
we think they are.
There's a reason Vegas is giving you like minus almost 300 odds for Cincinnati money line.
Vegas is reactionary. I think the Browns are better than we think they are. I don't think they're good. I think they're like 6 and 10, 7, 9 kind of.
Well,
But
regardless,
I think-
Ryan, what's your second parlay?
I think it'll be a good game. So Jacksonville game will be good, and Jacksonville ultimately win. I think the New England game same, but Washington should have no problem. All right.
So what's your same game? Yeah.
Second parlay, I went with the Jacksonville game because I think this game's going to go off. I went with the BTJ touchdown, BTJ's alternate 60-plus reception yards, T-Law over 1.5 passing touchdowns, because, guys, Carolina gave up the most passing touchdowns last year with 35, and the second team was at like 28. So they gave up a lot, and they didn't really do much to pat their defense. And so I also threw in T-Law's alternate 225-plus passing yards to give me plus 298 odds. I put 10 down to win almost 40.
Okay. So then let's do our millionaire bets. I'm going to go first. I went with a plus 115. We all went with touchdowns. I went Mike Evans. Waleed, who'd you go with?
Well, in response to Ryan's, let Ryan go first because mine is a direct response.
Waleed went reactionary because I put down my millionaire for a BTJ touchdown. So he's like, fuck it.
I was like, no, it's Travis Hunter. I want Travis Hunter. I'm getting more money, and I think, frankly, I won't be surprised if they both get a touchdown. But I think that Hunter is going to get better looks. I think they're going to try to make Travis Hunter beat them. They're going to try to keep like BTJ down, and honestly, I just love Travis Hunter. That's all it is.
Sure,
that's what it really is.
And if they both get him, Waleed, then that helps out 2 legs of my parlay too.
No,
So,
well, I'm betting your parlay. I get it.
yeah,
The other reason I
and-
didn't go, the reason I didn't go with Dunze here too was because I already had a Dunze touchdown in a parlay, so I wanted to spread it out. But like it's I've been very vocal. The two guys this offseason that I've been 100% on board with are Dunze and Travis Hunter. So
sure.
that's why Gambletown is. That's why my bets are looking that way.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to DFS, and we had a question in the Discord from the Home 11 and PPR DFS questions. What do you think about double stacking BTJ and Hunter?
I've already showed you that I have a Millie lineup that is Trevor Lawrence, BTJ, and Travis Hunter. Like,
So you're
I
in.
was not that bold.
Ryan, how do you feel about the thought of double stacking wide receivers?
I think I'm gonna wait. I'm totally fine with BTJ and Trevor Lawrence, but I'm gonna wait because I want to see what Travis Hunter does.
Here's my logic why I like it. I'm sorry. I like the overload in week 1 because if I get the right team, I have a chance of because I'm looking to advance. This is for tournament play only. Now, obviously, head to head, I'm not trying to do that. But in a tournament, I want to have that explosion of points that can give me a much bigger payout.
Correct. And that's kind of where I was going to go with this. Like, if you're playing a large scale tournament, that pretty much has to be the way that you play if you're looking for a big cash. If you're looking to cash and make your money back, maybe you go with a couple guys that you think are going to boom and then a lot of guys that you think are going to have decent weeks that'll be a return on what you paid for them for your salary. But if I'm playing the Millie Maker, I'm taking guys I'm trying to find the 9 dudes or the 7 dudes or however many dudes that it's going to take to be first overall.
I mean, stacking wide receivers is counterculture to how most of those lineups are going to be constructed. Because everybody and their mom knows about stacking the quarterback and the wide receiver. But if you but if you stack up a high-powered offense or a game that you think is going to go off the rails early, makes sense.
So I was listening to JJ Zacharyason's Becoming a Best Ball Bro as they talked about team stacking in best ball formats, and I think a lot of it's applicable to DFS too. I am minimizing the amount of things I need to go right to cash huge. I'm looking at this one game and being like, if these two teams erupt and this is the game to own, then I'm gonna be fine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I love double stacking. I want, if there's a game that I think is gonna be huge, I want 3 to 4 guys from that game.
Yeah.
Like last year, my biggest DFS cash was a game where I took, Darnold, Jefferson, Addison, and Mooney, and they all erupted. That was the game, the Vikings game, that was the highest scoring game of that week, and everybody had Garendo because he was playing the Bears, and he did well. But how many of them looked at the Atlanta Minnesota game and they were like, "This game's going to have 5 fantasy viable people in it"?
Sure.
Right.
So I love stacking. I want as many correlated plays as possible with my highest valued players. I want my top guys to be correlated when I can. So the second question that Levin had was Chase Brown versus James Conner.
James Conner.
I want Conner.
Yeah, James
Especially,
Conner against the Saints.
I am the biggest Chase Brown truther here. I think I still want Conner in this one.
Let me give you something, Levin. I got something for you. The Saints allowed the second most rushing yards last year against man concepts, which is what Conner does well. Conner was 3rd on man run concepts last year. The Cardinals are 6.5 point favorites, and James Conner over the last 2 seasons has averaged 19 fantasy points and 92.4 rushing yards per game in wins.
Here's my question.
And let's face it too. The game script for these games is super different. Whereas Arizona has way more chance to just likely be a blowout against New Orleans, where they just have to run the whole game, versus Cincinnati and Cleveland honestly could be a shootout, and they're just gonna need to pass the whole game. Both teams.
I think the real question here is who's in your flex that you're not starting Chase Brown? Because I'm not sure that I agree with like, as far as I can tell, both of them, and I assume you have an elite running back like a Gibbs or a Derrick Henry or something in there, and that other like running back spot. But like, who's your receiver flex that you're putting in over Chase Brown? That's what I
mean,
would question.
is this a fantasy question or is
Oh,
this a
yeah.
DFS question?
Exactly.
Like that's the right.
Yeah.
Because if it's Chase Brown, or I could definitely see Connor being the cheaper option of like in a DFS.
And he is, and I have
right.
a lot of Connor this week.
I think
Right.
he's going to be one of the most owned players on the slate.
Yeah.
So I think he's chalky as hell, but I'm eating the chalk. And since we are talking about,
I would say I don't worry about chalk because it doesn't matter what a guy is rostered. The only thing that actually matters is how he performs. And if you think a guy is going to perform, it doesn't matter if someone else has rostered him, because if he performs and you don't roster him, that just means you're behind.
okay.
Right.
So while we're talking chalk, builds, all that kind of stuff, let's run through our DFS plays of the week.
Oh yeah.
Of the week. I play Waleed. I think you also are playing on DraftKings. Ryan is a FanDuel guy. So Ryan's guys are going to be half PPR. Waleed and I are going to be full PPR. And also with DraftKings, you get the 3-point bonus if you have 300 or more passing yards or 100 of rushing or receiving yards as well. I'm going to start with quarterback, and I have a feeling we're going to have some overlap here because I'm going to go with Joe Flacco at $4,900.
Oh, I thought I was looking at. He's not the guy I was actually going to take.
Okay. Who are you going to take then?
Oh well, I was thinking I thought you were going to take Drake May, but I'm not going with Drake May. The guy, although actually, if you're not taking Drake May, you know what? Against the Raiders, I think I am actually going to take Drake May if you're not taking him, because I didn't want there to be overlap, and I like the matchup against Vegas. I like the rushing upside, and I like that he's only 5,500.
Okay. Ryan, who's your quarterback this week?
Guys,
do we have
this one's tough, guys, because Baker's gonna bake, but I'm going with Trevor Lawrence this week. That Jacksonville game just screams high score narrative. I'm taking the over on that game. I'm doing a bunch of stuff with that game.
I wanted to point out, Trevor Lawrence and Drake May were the guys I was going to get off of because I figured those were your two guys.
As I said, Carolina's defense ain't that great, and honestly, neither is Jacksonville's. Jacksonville did a little bit in the offseason to beef it up a little bit, but they're still Jacksonville. Yeah. So this game still has a chance, I think, to be a lot more high scoring than people think.
I'm going to throw out a bonus one here, if you don't mind, because $5,400 Justin Fields for his rushing upside in a revenge game, I feel like the value there is something that can win you a big cash.
Pittsburgh's one of the best defenses at limiting rushing quarterbacks. I mean,
I understand that they have been the last couple of years, but I kind of feel like that defense is getting old, and I think that I don't believe in Pittsburgh anymore. I think they're a little bit overrated.
If they can stop Lamar Jackson, I think they can stop Justin Fields. So I'm going to go with my running back, and like I said, I'm going to eat the chalk here, and I'm going to go with James Conner at 6,100. Waleed, who's your running back?
My running back, hold on, I'm going to try to find his price here. My guy here, J.K. Dobbins at 5,500, I think is a great value.
Okay. And Ryan, your running back.
Guys, this is a tough one this week because a lot of the builds I've had to pay down a lot in running back. So this one specific build I have, I'm pretty high on David Montgomery this week. He should be good for a touchdown, and
Micah Parsons can't stop to run.
And there were only 4 games last season that David Montgomery had all-purpose yards less than 52. So he's going to get some yards, and he's going to get a touchdown or two.
Well, and that's half PPR, right? Touchdowns come at such a premium in half PPR. That's what you're playing for.
Right. So I love David Montgomery, especially because he's like $2,000 cheaper than Gibbs.
Sure. Okay. My receiver, I'm paying down at my flex. I want some action with the high end receivers this week, but I want action for BTJ. I want it for Ted. I want it for Mike Evans. I want it for Drake
Sure.
London. So in
Yeah.
order to pay down enough and still have a good receiver in my flex, my guy is going to be Josh Downs at 4,600.
I love it.
Okay.
Love it so much. Full PPR.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that Downs catches 6 passes. I don't think he's going to get 80 yards receiving, but I think he can score.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I Downs at 4,600 is my pay down option. Waleed, who's your wide receiver?
So my guy, I went $5,000 Travis Hunter is the guy. I told you I love him this week. I think that he's going to be seriously undervalued, and because the Doomsday's not available, I'm going Travis Hunter.
Okay, Ryan.
And mine should be obvious. I'm stacking Lawrence with BTJ.
Okay, that stack is a core for you this week. Ironically, my tight end, I'm paying down once again. I'm going to go with Brenton Strange. I think there's a chance
Damn.
that Brenton Strange sneaks into the end zone here, especially if it's a shootout. Carolina is ass against tight ends. I mean, they're bad against everybody, but
Yeah.
I like Brenton Strange as a real cheap option, and on DK, he's 3,300. So, Waleed, who's your tight end?
I don't need to pay down a tight end. I'm just going to take Njoku. He's not like super expensive with 4,700 for a guy who could very easily finish his tight end one on the week. I'll take it.
Yeah, there's your chalk. Ryan, who's your tight end of the week?
Guys, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be Hunter Henry because he's going to be
Yep.
able to help you afford a lot because he's not. I mean, he's mid tier. He was my mid tier. TH Fantasy's mid tier kind of shitty tight end of the week. As I mentioned before, he's got a 22.7 first read share. The Raiders allowed the 5th most receiving yards per game and 7th highest yards per reception to tight ends. The chemistry that he developed in Drake May's freshman year was pretty cool, and I think that relationship continues into the sophomore year. And I just think Hunter Henry's going to have a game, especially against this Raiders defense.
Okay.
If I wasn't as high on Njoku, he would have been my number 2 tight end.
And
I'm
I'm right there with you.
This game could honestly get crazy good too, because I mean we have to remember we've got Geno Smith passing to Brock Bowers, and we've got Austin Genty on the other side if he ends up being anything. I mean, so this game could be pretty close too. They might just have to pass. So
Sure. And my defense, once again, chalky. I'm going with the Cardinals. I'm stacking Connor with Arizona's defense.
okay.
That's one of my favorite stacks, is to stack running back with defense.
I
So,
like it.
Waleed, your defense.
I like to stack my tight end with defense because I'm going with the Browns defense. They're one of my, I
Whoa.
think they're a good price.
Wow.
Cincinnati, like I said, Cincinnati week 1 tends to suck, so I'm just taking my chances on that.
Okay.
And they're
Yeah.
only hold on, gotta find that. Like, forgot we were doing defenses and I closed it up. Trying to find
Shame on
that
you.
price here.
Shame on you.
Yeah, that's. I'm not in mid-season form.
They're
the
probably-
third cheapest, they're 2,300. They're the third cheapest
Wow.
defense because people are down on them. So I
Sure.
can put that money elsewhere, and I'm betting on Cincinnati continuing to be bad in week 1.
Did
It's not just because people are down on them. It's because they're going to be playing up against statistically probably the most high-powered passing offense in the league.
did Cincinnati get better on the offensive line this offseason?
I don't think they did they?
They sure didn't. They sure did not.
Yeah, Miles
So-
Garrett can do some things.
So we'll see. You know what? And honestly, like, you're paying down that much. If they end up scoring 7 points this week, you consider that a win.
Absolutely, and on top of that, like, it means I can spend up in other places, like the places where I got like the Browns. I also have Gibbs, like
Right.
So
right.
yeah, give me that trade off because
Sure.
history tells me that the Browns are going to have a decent week against the Bengals.
Sure. All right, Ryan, who's your defense?
Going chalk because, guys, Denver's going to have a pick 6. It's going to be great.
And we
That's
all get
very
paid.
likely.
All right, cool. So that's pretty much everything. Ryan, for TH Fantasy, we did a DFS Superflex build. Do you have that pulled up by any chance?
Yes, I have that
So
right here.
FanDuel's the only place that does Superflex, which is unfortunate because it's the best way to play football,
It's
fantasy
pretty
football.
fun.
Yeah. So Ryan, who are we banking on for DFS?
All right, guys. TH Fantasy official lineup. We went with Trevor Lawrence, paired him with BTJ, obviously. Then we went with Drake May and Hunter Henry at tight end.
Love that so much.
So that afforded us to get. We had so much money left over. So that means we're starting Jahmyr Gibbs, guys. That means we're starting James Conner. That means we're starting Jamar Chase, and that means we're starting Gary Terry.
And this is something that we're talking. Levin gave us a shout out in the Discord saying thanks for taking the questions. This is also something I want to help shout out on because it's something we talked about on the show last night. You should listen to TH Fantasy if you don't already, especially last week's episode with Waleed and super producer Josh on all your podcast streaming services. But one of the things that I brought up last night, because we were torn between Scary Terry and Drake London, and I think the big takeaway that everyone should have for it from a process standpoint, regardless of result, if you're in a coin flip situation, go with the guy on the better offense.
I like that. That's good logic.
It seems simple because it is, and don't overthink it.
Sure.
If it's true, if you're in a true coin flip situation, that's how I break my ties. So,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I want the higher scoring offense, right?
Right.
So, that's it for us. That's week 1. We got our bets placed. We've got our DFS lineups locked in. We're ready to go. We're gonna come back next week, rich and forgetting all of you. It's gonna be great. But yeah, any closing thoughts before we head out?
I'm just excited to be back for football.
It's time, dude. It's time.
I can't. The first red zone of the year is like something magical.
Yeah, it's like a holy fucking spirit moment.
Right. Yep.
Especially when that first Amazon commercial hits, it's gonna be so great.
and we're gonna start a new tradition this year where as soon as that time clock comes on, when they count down from 5 minutes, there has to be silence. only for the first one of the year.
I'll try to relay that to the baby. All right. So everybody, thanks.
Tony, get that baby out of this house. He's being disrespectful.
Scott
Put
Hansen,
him outside.
Yeah, he's gonna know Scott Hansen as like an uncle. All right. So that's week 1 of going to Gambletown. Thank you guys for coming by. Thank you for asking questions. Free AJ Brown, and we'll see you guys next week.